Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Wednesday the 18th of November. This is not my first attempt, I have to admit, on recording this morning. I had the wrong calendar and I just thought it felt like it was Groundhog Day. Anyway, it may be. There's not a lot of the way in the way of news today. At 1:30 we've got a Canadian CPI, so I don't expect any real significant move coming from the economies this morning. Okay, we have on the verge, of course, Brexit still rolling. It looks like it's country mile away most of the time when I read things. So on that basis, well, there's a risk in the background, but aside of that, let's look at these technically. And starting off with the euro dollar, it's been edging its way back up north here. It's highlights higher highs through this last week here, or most of the last week, since Tuesday, Wednesday last week. Dropped back down towards that 60.50. It seems to be around about that. I say round about because on each occasion it seems to have pushed, well, through 200 there, but it's pushed through on the last couple of occasions. It is pushing up again. Yesterday we just got a little bit, I thought it was a little bit oversold. It obviously not showing it on here. On the shorter time frames we got a little bit oversold into those highs there, temporarily at least, but it's let's say at the moment still pushing on upwards, the euro, so maybe more upside there. The pound, similar sort of picture on the dailies here, pushing up, has been pushing up for a few days now. Again, just neat retracements. There's a proper little channel running in. We may be running towards the top end of that channel, just in case it may slow up into that. Looking at the shorter time frame here, the one thing to watch out for is that the daily pivot hasn't been hit yet. So daily pivot hasn't been hit, but it's, well, it is still pushing up at this stage. We'll watch post 8 o'clock and see if anything changes there. Okay, dollar yen. Dollar yen continues its path to the downside here, having last week all in one day pushed up there far too quickly. It's continued its trot back in. I mean, it's below its mean line, its mean trend line at the moment, but as I said, pushing back down towards those sort of lows now. Previously it was around about this 104 area, which was pretty well guarded, but it seems like it may be off to this sort of 103.20 again, that sort of 103.30 area. So it does look like we've got continuation there on the yen. Aussie dollar, well, daily wise, we've still got this, well, I say still got, but we've got a bit of a divergence running across there on the RSI. I'm not too sure, is it running? No, MACD is still running onwards. So just a shorter, more aggressive RSI showing a bit of MACD divergence, but it's still got potential of a continuation here in the short term. It's back to its weekly pivot finally. And it's in a very tight range there. The very fact that it's been sort of sitting around this relatively tight range may see it push up. Now I've come down to this 4 hourly, and the picture looks a little different. It did put a lower high in yesterday. It did switch back a little bit and looked a bit more iffy. And if you were looking to jump on this, well, it has just pitched above that high there. But I would be tempted maybe to wait for a retracement and then a subsequent charge up there. As it sits at the moment, in this, as I say, shorter period, it could break this trend line here and just continue in this early sort of rollover it was having. So it's running up for now, but a little bit uncertain there on the Aussie dollar. Canadian dollar. The Canadian dollar, it's it put in a bearish pivot swing. Then yesterday we ended up closing pretty much near the high. At the moment it's still heading a bit more south again. It really has struggled with its 4 hourly 50s here. It's not far off them again. As I said yesterday, I'm in a small short. I say small short, I'm in a short on this Canadian dollar. It came pretty close to the stops last night, I can assure you. You look down here, stops were just sitting just above this candle here. Quite close, but it's still running from Monday's trade. So at the moment, I'm still looking at more downside there personally. looking down towards the prior lows here. We'll see how it runs, but it's been in such a consolidated phase so far this week. Maybe we'll get a breakout, and I say maybe we'll get a breakout, and if it does, I'm looking towards that S1 area on the 4-hourly, or on the weekly pivot, I should say. Okay, that's the CAD. Aside of that, let's have a quick skip through in terms of the equity market. I'll look at the S&Ps as a benchmark here. Well, yesterday really didn't manage to gain any traction. It ended up on a slight down day for the day, and at the moment it's just sort of sitting on its weekly pivot there, and not really going anywhere now. Just really stifled a little bit. It's just put in a bullish pivot swing, but it's just below the trend there. It's not, I'd say, not looking particularly shiny at the moment. So I don't know, with a lower high that was confirmed through previously earlier in the week there, it does look a bit iffy and still a bit weak. But if it can hold on above this weekly pivot, well, maybe at some stage we'll see another shove up there, and that's what I would be waiting for. Looking at oil, so oil, it's again consolidating, following on from yesterday's meeting. Didn't really help it massively, but traders were looking for a longer term extension of this these cuts. They were looking really, the 3 months had been widely banded and expected, so we sort of saw a bit of a dip down there on that basis, but it's been agreed that it's going to continue and for a further 3 months, so as planned, and not the 6 months that people were hoping. But anyway, there we are. It bounced back from that, and we've been left pretty much in a channel at this stage. Right, that's pretty much it for me. I wish you a great day. I will be back in the morning. Bye for now.